All right, everyone, get ready. We are diving deep today into the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025.
Trying to figure out how the job market's going to change in the next 5 years, huh?
Basically, yeah. Think robots, AI, the whole thing.
Well, this report is a great place to start. It's not some pie-in-the-sky prediction. The World Economic Forum actually talked to over 1,000 major employers.
Oh, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, representing 14.1 million workers. So it's a pretty good snapshot of what's going on.
Okay, so by the end of this deep dive, we'll know what jobs are going to be hot, what skills we need, the whole 9 yards.
Exactly. You'll have the inside scoop on what's going to shape the global job market by 2030. Let's start with the 5 macro trends the report highlights.
Okay, sounds good.
The first one is the tech takeover.
Oh, yeah, that's been a big one for a while now.
Right, but it's way more than just new gadgets and apps. Think bigger.
Like what, exactly?
Broadening digital access. That's the fuel. That's what's powering this whole transformation.
So it's like the internet just blew the doors wide open for AI, robotics, even green technology to come in and change everything.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
the backbone. And, 60% of employers are saying this digital wave is already changing their businesses big time.
Well, 60%. So even if you're not like a tech person, this is going to impact everyone.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the second macro trend, which hits everyone where it hurts.
Our wallets.
You got it. The cost of living crunch.
I think we're all feeling that one right now.
For sure. It's the number 2 concern for employers, and this report says we could see jobs disappearing because of economic slowdowns.
So more people out of work.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also a flip side. The report suggests this uncertainty could actually create some new opportunities,
Oh, okay, interesting.
especially for people who can, think outside the box, bounce back from setbacks, and be flexible.
So being able to roll with the punches is going to be a big plus.
Exactly. Adaptability, that's the name of the game. Okay, the next trend is all about going green.
Sustainability, right?
You got it. Climate change, the whole thing. It's not just a buzzword anymore.
Definitely not. We had to do something about it.
And we are. The report highlights the huge demand for green jobs and skills and, environmental stewardship, stuff like that.
So like renewable energy engineers, things like that.
Exactly. Renewable energy engineers, environmental engineers, even autonomous vehicle specialists. All those jobs are growing like crazy.
Sounds like it's a good time to be in the sustainability business.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, it's not just limited to scientists and engineers anymore.
What do you mean?
Almost every industry needs people who get sustainability, who can incorporate it into their work.
So no matter what you do, having those green skills is going to be a big advantage.
For sure. Okay, on to trend number 4. The report calls it the demographic dance.
The demographic dance. What's that all about?
Well, it's about the population, how it's changing globally. You've got some countries with aging populations, declining workforces, and others with booming youth populations, tons of young people entering the job market.
So different parts of the world facing different problems, basically.
Exactly. Aging populations will likely see a surge in care economy jobs, and they'll need skills in talent management, teaching, mentoring.
To manage all those older workers, you mean?
Exactly. They've got the experience, but they might need help adapting to new technologies.
Makes sense. What about places with all those young people entering the workforce?
Those areas will need to focus on, education, training, figuring out how to manage a huge influx of young talent.
Different challenges, but equally important.
Got it.
Okay, last macro trend on our list, and this one sounds kind of scary.
It is a bit, yeah. Geopolitical jitters. Think trade wars, political tensions, global conflicts.
Not exactly a walk in the park.
Nope. The report says we can expect to see a rise in demand for security-related jobs, more emphasis on cybersecurity.
So with the world feeling less stable, there's more need for protection, risk management.
Exactly. And once again, adaptability, resilience, being able to roll with the punches, it's all going to be crucial to navigate this uncertain landscape.
Okay, so we've got tech, economics, climate, demographics, global politics. It's like everything's connected.
It is. It's complex, but understanding these forces is key to staying ahead of the curve.
To make smart career choices, you mean?
Exactly. So let's get into that. What does this report say about what the job landscape will actually look like in 2030? Well, the good news is it predicts a net increase of 78 million jobs globally.
Wow, 78 million. That's a lot of new jobs.
It is. But there's a catch. that net increase also means a whole bunch of jobs are going to disappear.
Oh, so it's not all just new jobs being added on top of the old ones.
Nope, it's more like a major reshuffling. Some jobs created, others becoming obsolete.
So like a game of musical chairs.
Exactly. And if you're not prepared, you might not have a seat when the music stops.
So which jobs are we talking about here? Who are the winners and losers in this job market shakeup?
As you might expect, tech-related roles are among the fastest growing. We're talking AI and machine learning specialists, fintech engineers, software developers.
So basically, if you can code, you're golden.
Coding's a pretty valuable skill right now, yeah. And don't forget, those green jobs, they're also booming, like we talked about.
Right, like autonomous vehicle specialists, environmental engineers.
Exactly. Those and renewable energy engineers, those are all going to be in high demand.
So tech and sustainability, those are two big winners.
Got it. What about the jobs that are on the decline?
A lot of those clerical and administrative roles, those are being phased out largely because of automation.
Things like cashiers, ticket clerks, that kind of thing?
Yeah, those tasks can be easily automated.
Makes sense. Anything else?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. The report also highlights some surprising growth areas.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Even in a tech-driven world, human connection, caregiving, those things, they're still incredibly valuable.
So robots aren't replacing everything?
Nope, not at all. Nursing professionals, social workers, personal care jobs, those are all expected to grow significantly.
So even with all the robots and AI, we still need that human touch.
We do. And another area that's booming is education. Teachers and professors.
Yep, both tertiary and secondary education, big demand. Somebody's got to teach all those future coders and engineers, right?
And sustainability experts. Yeah, makes sense. So the job market's changing, but there are still plenty of opportunities out there.
Definitely. But to really thrive, you need the right skills.
All right, let's talk skills then. What are those magic ingredients you need to succeed in this future job market?
It's not magic, but it does require a focus on both tech skills and human skills.
Okay, so like a balance.
Exactly. On the tech side, AI and big data, networks and cybersecurity, even just basic technological literacy, those are the top 3 fastest growing skills.
But even if you're not like a tech whiz, you need to understand how technology works.
Absolutely. You got to be able to navigate the digital world. But here's the thing that people often overlook. In a world where robots and algorithms are doing more and more, human skills are becoming even more valuable.
So all that stuff about robots taking over our jobs, maybe it's not the whole story.
Definitely not. Things like communication, collaboration, problem solving, critical thinking, adaptability. Those are the skills that'll set you apart from the machines.
It's not just about being technically proficient, it's about being a well-rounded human being.
Right, being adaptable, resourceful, and that's where the idea of lifelong learning comes in.
Lifelong learning. Like, we never stop learning.
Exactly. The report found that 59 out of every 100 workers will need training by 2030.
Wow. That's more than half the workforce.
It is. So no matter what you do, how experienced you are, you've got to keep learning, keep evolving.
So even if you've been in the same job for 20 years, you can't just coast.
Nope. Lifelong learning, it's not an option anymore. It's essential. A lot of employers are offering upskilling and reskilling programs.
That's good to hear.
It is, but you can't rely on them completely. You have to be proactive, take ownership of your own development.
So take charge of your own destiny. Don't wait for someone to hand you the skills you need.
Exactly. But there's a concerning finding in the report. It suggests that 11 out of every 100 workers might not get the training they need.
So there's a potential skills gap coming, like a mismatch between the skills people have and the skills employers are looking for.
Exactly. And that could leave a lot of people behind. This is where governments, educational institutions, employers, they all need to work together.
To make sure everyone has access to the training they need, right?
Absolutely. To thrive in this changing job market. Okay, we've talked about the big trends, the potential winners and losers in the job market, the essential skills you need to succeed. But what about businesses? How are they adapting to all of this?
Yeah, that's a good question. They must be going through their own transformations, right?
Oh, they are. One of the biggest shifts is that they're finally starting to prioritize employee well-being.
Like they're finally realizing that a happy worker is a productive worker.
Seems like it. Supporting employee health and well-being, that's becoming a top priority for attracting and retaining talent.
That's encouraging. What else?
Another big shift is the emphasis on upskilling. A whopping 77% of employers plan to invest heavily in reskilling and upskilling their current workforce.
So they're recognizing the importance of investing in their people, helping them adapt.
Exactly. But there's one big question mark hanging over all of this: AI. Is it a friend or foe in the workplace?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is. And employers are split on their AI strategy. Some are looking to fully automate tasks, replace humans with robots.
And others?
Others want to use AI to augment human work, make people's jobs easier, more efficient.
So robots versus cobots, like we talked about earlier.
Okay.
What does the report recommend?
The report leans towards augmentation, using AI to enhance human capabilities, not replace them.
Which makes sense, given how vital those human skills are.
Exactly. It's about finding the right balance between human and artificial intelligence.
Okay, so it's not about becoming a robot. It's about working with them, using them to our advantage.
Exactly. And this brings us to another interesting trend, the rise of skills-based hiring.
Skills-based hiring, what's that all about?
It means companies are moving away from just looking at degrees and diplomas. They're putting more emphasis on skills assessments, psychometric testing.
So your actual skills and experience are becoming more important than just a piece of paper.
Exactly. Your portfolio, projects, demonstrable skills, those are what will make you stand out.
Sounds like it's a good time to be building up those skills, showcasing what you can do.
Absolutely.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground. The future of work is definitely a complex and ever-changing landscape.
It is. But I think we need to take a deeper dive into some of these topics, especially the role of AI in shaping the future of jobs.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot more to unpack there. All right, let's continue this discussion after a short break. We'll be back with more insights from the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025.
So before the break, we were talking about how businesses are adapting.
Yeah, and one of the big things we were discussing was AI and how companies are trying to figure out how to use it.
Right, whether it's about automating everything or, using it to help people do their jobs better.
And the report seems to suggest that helping people is the better approach.
Yeah, augmenting human capabilities with AI, that's what they call it.
Which makes sense, considering how important all those human skills are, like we talked about.
Exactly. It's about using AI to boost productivity, to make things more efficient, but without losing that human element.
Okay, but how do employers actually do that? I mean, how do you actually put that augmentation strategy into practice?
Well, it depends. It varies a lot depending on the industry, the specific job.
Give me an example.
Okay, so in healthcare, for example, AI can be used to help doctors diagnose patients
Oh, wow.
by analyzing, medical images, patient data, all that stuff.
So it's like AI doing the grunt work.
Sort of, yeah, but the doctor is still the one making the final call.
Right, so AI is a tool. It's not replacing the doctor.
Exactly. It's about helping them do their job better. And it's the same in other fields like manufacturing.
Oh, yeah, I've seen videos of those robots working in factories.
Right. Those robots can do the repetitive tasks, the physically demanding stuff, and that frees up the human workers to focus on more specialized work.
So it's all about finding that balance.
Yeah, between human intelligence and artificial intelligence.
But what about job displacement? I mean, as AI gets more and more sophisticated, isn't there a risk that it'll start taking over jobs that humans used to do?
It's definitely a valid concern. AI can create new jobs, it can enhance existing jobs, but it can also automate some jobs out of existence.
Which means people lose their jobs.
Right, and that can lead to all sorts of problems, unemployment, social unrest.
Especially for people who, don't have the skills or resources to adapt.
That's why it's so important to talk about responsible AI development, ethical AI.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about how we use it.
Exactly. It's about making sure that AI benefits everyone, not just a select few.
It sounds like a huge challenge.
It is. It's a multifaceted challenge, and it requires a collaborative effort.
Like, everyone needs to be on board.
Yeah, governments, businesses, educational institutions, even individuals, we all have a role to play.
Does the report offer any specific recommendations for how to manage this transition?
It does. One key recommendation is for governments to invest in reskilling and upskilling programs.
To help workers adapt to this new job market, right?
Exactly, to equip them with the skills they need to thrive in a future where AI is everywhere.
Okay, what else?
Another recommendation is to encourage more collaboration between businesses and educational institutions.
So that the training programs are actually aligned with what employers are looking for.
Exactly. No more of this disconnect between what's taught in school and what's needed in the real world.
Makes sense.
Anything else? The report also emphasizes the need for policies that support lifelong learning. Things like tax breaks for training expenses, for flexible work arrangements that allow people to go back to school, things like that.
So basically, making it easier for people to keep learning throughout their careers.
Right. It's a shift away from that old model of education followed by work, work, work until retirement.
Towards a more dynamic model where learning is ongoing.
Exactly. And the rise of skills-based hiring, that could be a big part of this.
Right, because if companies are focusing on actual skills, not just degrees, that opens up opportunities for more people,
For sure. People who maybe don't have a traditional educational background but have the skills to do the job.
which could lead to a more diverse workforce.
Exactly. It's about recognizing talent wherever it exists.
But how do we ensure that skills-based hiring actually leads to more equity, more diversity? I mean, it's one thing to say you're going to do it. It's another thing to actually do it.
It takes effort, a conscious effort from companies. They have to implement inclusive hiring practices, use objective assessments, diversify their recruitment channels.
So it's not just about changing the hiring criteria. It's about changing the whole process.
Exactly. And it's a shared responsibility. Like we said before, everyone has a role to play in shaping this future of work.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the big picture, but let's bring it back down to earth for a minute. What can individuals do to prepare for this future? I mean, it all sounds pretty overwhelming.
It's a lot to take in, but there are tangible steps you can take. Don't just sit there and wait for the future to happen to you. Go out and meet it head on.
So what's the first step?
The most important thing is to cultivate that mindset of lifelong learning. Embrace the idea that learning doesn't end when you graduate.
So be curious, stay up to date, always be learning new things.
Exactly. And don't limit yourself to just technical skills. Those human skills we talked about, those are crucial too.
Communication, collaboration, problem solving, all that good stuff.
Right. Those are the skills that will set you apart in a world where so much can be automated.
And those uniquely human traits, empathy, creativity, emotional intelligence, those are important too.
Absolutely. It's about being a well-rounded person, not just a robot.
So it's not about becoming a robot. It's about becoming a better, more adaptable human.
Exactly. And remember, this isn't just about your job, it's about your life. These skills will make you a better, more resilient, more fulfilled person overall.
So invest in yourself.
Best investment you can make. But what if you're feeling overwhelmed? Where do you go for help?
Yeah. Where do you start?
Talk to your employer, see what kind of training opportunities they offer, look into online learning platforms, connect with other people in your field. There are tons of resources out there.
So don't be afraid to ask for help.
Don't be. Embrace the challenge. Stay curious. And remember, you have the power to shape your own future.
Don't just be a passenger on this ride.
Be the driver. Equip yourself, stay adaptable, and embrace the opportunities that change brings.
It's time to take control of your destiny.
Exactly.
And with that empowering message, we're going to take a quick break. Be back in a few with some final thoughts and a question to ponder. Okay, so we're back, and it's time to wrap up our deep dive into the future of jobs.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground, huh?
We have those macro trends, the skills you need to thrive, how businesses are adapting, the whole shebang.
In the World Economic Forum report, it doesn't sugarcoat things, does it?
It doesn't, which is good because pretending everything's fine doesn't help anyone. But it's not all doom and gloom either, right?
Right. It's a mix, challenges and opportunities. The key takeaway, I think, is to be proactive.
Don't just sit back and wait for the future to happen.
Exactly. Embrace lifelong learning, build those human skills that set you apart from the machines.
So what stood out to you most from all this? What are you going to do to get ready for 2030? Something to think about as we wrap up here.
I think the thing that really stuck with me is that whole discussion about AI, how it could be used to replace jobs instead of enhance them.
Yeah, it's like a fork in the road. Which path are we going to choose?
Right, and there are some big questions we need to answer about fairness, equity, making sure everyone benefits from these technological advancements.
So as you think about your own career, think about what role you want to play in shaping this future.
Will you be an advocate for responsible AI? Will you help bridge the skills gap by mentoring others? Will you embrace the changes and help others adapt?
The choices we make today, they have a ripple effect.
They do. They shape the world of tomorrow. Think big, be bold, and never stop learning.
That's a great message to end on. This report, it's a wake-up call, but it's also a roadmap.
To a future where humans and technology can work together, thrive together.
And on that note, that's a wrap on our deep dive into the future of jobs. Hopefully you're leaving here with some insight, some inspiration to not just survive, but really thrive in this crazy, ever-changing world of work.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, keep shaping the future you want to see.